this is oh fuck, I forgot.
Is it 16?
16. Yeah, it's episode 16, guys. Guys, I have been meticulously monitoring this to make sure I don't make this mistake, because I know that I'm currently editing episode 14. We have 15 that I still have to edit, and B to Z that was filmed, which is separate.
Its own
sequence.
entity?
Its own sequence of episodes. So it's episode 16.
Woo!
100%. Guys, I don't know how we've been here for this long. To be honest, I'm actually in shock that we've been able to maintain this. All right, so welcome back to Derailed. I'm sorry, that was the worst intro ever.
Wait, that was the intro?
Yes,
Ooh.
we clapped. We started.
Ooh.
So
we got derailed right off the bat.
Immediately. So I'm B, and then I'm here with... You have several names now.
Oh.
Jameel H. Lamage. That's
H.
your name now.
Where does the H
You're
come
always
from?
H.
Who's
I don't know
H?
how that happened.
I'm not
You need to
H.
watch the previous episodes to know who H is.
I am not H. I don't know who you refer to as H. It is not.
You can't say it's not if you don't know what it is.
Not
That's called
claiming it.
gaslighting.
No. Oh, everything's gaslighting.
I know. I feel like this show should be called gaslighting, to be honest, because we use that word a lot. And I feel like we do that to each other a lot. Okay, so I have...
wait.
Yes.
Wait, I gotta put a public announcement.
Oh, God.
Last time I was on the show, we had a little argument about BoJack, and I'm just going to admit that I may have possibly been wrong. Okay.
There was no mayhem.
Accountability.
You were absolutely wrong. 100% wrong. If you're going to take accountability, at least go all the way.
Yes.
Come on, you give him something.
I was
you were wrong. Oh, my
okay.
God. How hard was that to admit?
All right, moving on.
On camera.
Moving on.
Moving on from his
good.
shame. Well, at least
BoJack fans, forgive me.
Okay, well, to be honest, I'm wrong about a lot of things, and I just admit it. So, once you roll with the punches, it gets easier.
Yeah.
Especially when you're wrong half the time. Most
The more
of the
you
time.
do it, the easier it gets.
Yes, exactly. Which is why... Okay, no, I'm not going to say that.
What?
That's okay. I was going to make a joke, but I'm not going to make that joke. So it was about gaslighting again. It's okay.
Were you about to gaslight me?
Maybe a little bit.
Oh,
okay,
God.
so I was going to give my actual story intro. I know that there was something you wanted to discuss, but I kind of want to get into just like our personal stories.
Okay.
That's usually how we start off. But with me, so this wasn't going to be anything I talked about. This happened this morning. We we evacuated our building this morning, our apartment. So, it was the weirdest experience of my life. I've never had an experience where there was a real fire alarm in an apartment building. It's always been like a fire drill.
How do you know it was a real evacuation?
So this is how I know. So when they do a drill, there's an announcement saying testing, this is a drill, or this is fire testing or whatever, right? So it does brrr, brrr, and then it does the announcement. So it started doing it, and so my immediate reaction is like, oh, they're doing the drills again. Like, they fucking do this every month. They do it so often. It's actually, I feel like they shouldn't, because it becomes Boy Who Cried Wolf, because then when you hear it, you're used to it.
They gotta make sure it works.
You're used to it. I know, but they do it every month. That's like, to me, that's a little overkill. But anyways, so, I'm like, oh my God, they're doing the drills again. I was about to log into work, and then it kept going and going. And my brother's dog is terrified of the noise, so he ran into like my lap, and he was like freaking out. And I'm like, oh, it's okay, Squish. And then it starts.
What kind of dog does he have?
A Chiweenie. I think I've told you this.
Oh, I think
Chihuahua Wiener dog mix.
Oh, wow.
He's a rescue, so he might have other stuff in him, but like, I don't know. So I'm like taking care of Squish, and then it keeps going and going, and there's no announcement, and it doesn't stop, and it's going and going. And I literally went up to like this speaker thing in the front door, and I'm like, is this thing broke? Like, it's almost like I was gaslighting myself. Like, there's no way there's a real fire. And then I'm thinking, and I'm like, oh my God, this is real. I'm like starting to have a panic. And then I was like opening the door. I'm like, is anyone leaving their apartment? I'm like, maybe people aren't home. Maybe people are at work, because I work from home. I'm like, oh my God, is this real? I'm like having a panic attack. And then I see a girl in her pajamas come out. I'm like, hey, like, what are we doing? I was like, are we leaving? She was like, I don't know. There's no announcement. I don't know what to do. I'm trying to find someone who knows what to do. We're on the 17th floor too, by the way. Complete panic mode. And I'm like, okay, if this is by some chance real, I need to get the dogs. I need to get the fuck out. I have a turtle, by the way. I have a pet turtle. So this brought into hindsight a lot of things. How my ADHD might kill my turtle in the future, and how unprepared
the turtle got left behind,
and how unprepared I am for a fire. Because I live in an apartment building. Anything could fucking happen with other people's apartments. So, like, I'm running down the flight. The elevator's not working, so I'm like, this shit is real. The fire department's coming. So I'm on the 17th floor. I start running down the flights of stairs with my dog. Misha's old. So she tries to get down the stairs. She's like... And I'm like, oh my god. So I had to pick her up and carry her. Meanwhile, Squish...
You have a fat dog, don't you?
No, she's old. And
How old is Misha?
She's 14,
Oh,
and
I
she
didn't
has
know that.
a collapsed trachea, so she can't... She has problems, okay? She can't...
So small.
I know, but she's a problem child.
Oh my god.
So I'm carrying her, and she put on a little bit of weight, so she was heavy. And so then... So yeah, she was chubby. And then Squish was running circles around me, being like, let's go, because he hates the fire alarm, so he's having a panic attack. He's like, let's go, let's go. I almost fall down the stairs several times. And I think my mind was playing tricks on me, because when I got to the 9th floor, I thought I smelled smoke. I'm like, oh my god, this is where the fire is. Oh my god, I'm like having a panic attack. And by the time I got to the 2nd floor, there's just a gate. And there's a door to the hallway. And I'm like, why is there a gate blocking my way to the main floor? Because I've never taken the stairwell down 17 flights of stairs before. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I went into the 2nd floor hallway. This is very panic-inducing, by the way. And I'm walking, and I have to walk all the way to the other end of the hallway. And I'm starting to realize, I'm like, if there was a real fire, I would be fucked. Like, at this point, I would be fucked.
I feel like...
I would have not outrun this fire. I would have not... If there was, like... I would have been so screwed.
You would have been dead only because of the dogs.
The dogs were
would have
slowing me down so much, Nico.
I feel like the fence
so
on the 2nd
much.
floor...
As you say that, though, it's funny because my dog, when the fire alarm goes off here, my dog howls. Like, I got a Rottweiler. I'm like, how do you even know how to fucking howl?
The wolf comes out.
The wolf inside of her.
It's so weird. You can ask these guys. They've heard her. And she'll just go...
She's like, alert the people, guys. There's an emergency.
So I've always wondered
Is there someone in a well, boy? Someone in a well? No? Fire? It's a
okay.
fire, boy?
And so when I go all the way to the other end of the stairwell, I'm like, all right, now I got to the main floor. I go outside. There's 3 fire trucks. There's people with their dogs outside. I'm like, oh my god, this is real. And then it clicked in my head that I left Cornelius. At that point, when I had left the building,
perfect turtle.
I left Cornelius inside. I'm like, he's
would have
gonna
lived.
die.
He would have lived. He's in water. He would have lived.
No, the water boils in fire, heat. That's what my mom said on the phone. By the way, she's like, he would have been fine. He was in water. I'm like, Mom, the water boils. If there's a fire, he'd be turtle soup by the end of it.
Baked turtle.
Scrumptious.
Oh my god, no.
What did the French call it?
I don't think there is French turtle soup.
I bet there's a.
There might be. We
French
don't have
turtle
Jacques.
soup?
We don't have Jacques here to confirm. I know that there is a food with turtles. I know that, but I don't know what it
The
is.
French version of turtle soup.
You don't have a mic, so you don't have the right to talk. No mic, no rights.
Can you
I am like.
can you tell
You
him?
are Mike.
He is
He
Mike.
is Mike.
Oh my
he
god.
has all the rights.
He got you there.
He's like an infinity stone.
Oh my god. He's like an infinity stone.
In France, if you want turtle soup, you ask for the slow lunch.
Oh my god.
Get out of here. Get out of here. Where's the button? Where's the fucking button? We never set this up on our segment. It's so bad. I feel like I'm gonna knock everything over.
No, don't knock it over.
And I don't have my sound bites. Sorry, I have to move this, guys, because button. Okay, it's okay. We won't have sound bites today. We're not prepared. Okay, anyways, so I'm outside. I realize I left for Cornelius. I'm like, the frick do I do? But it ended up being false alarm, so it was fine. But
Hold on. Hold the phone. What about your important documents?
whatever, screw the documents. Everything's electronic now.
No.
I have everything electronically. I wasn't worried about documents because everything I own is electronic.
So you like took a photo of it, or is it like just?
No, like literally. So anything I have physically, I also have an electronic copy.
Oh, you're just prepared.
Yeah,
You're more
I'm always
prepared than I would have been. I would have been like, oh shit, my documents.
My
I would
documents.
have forgot the turtle. I would have forgot the dog.
Oh, I can't forget the dogs.
The
They
dog
were
was like,
staring right at me.
shut up! I gotta grab the stuff.
I had Squish in my lap freaking out about the whole thing. If I just kicked him off and left him, that would have been horrible. But this is why I
would
say...
have been a different story, but...
This is why I say, like, I always say I'm terrible with plants. Why? Because they blend in with the background. Cornelius blended in with the background as I was having a panic attack because he was in his tank. And I did, if he could come up to me and say, "Don't forget me," I would have brought him. But I forgot him.
His job to
I forgot Cornelius.
Be loud.
It isn't his job, but I'm saying that it put a lot into retrospect.
You're kind of gaslighting Cornelius into why he got left behind.
If there is ever a fire, I will now remember to bring Cornelius with me. Maybe in a bucket. I don't know how, but I'd find a way.
So
he's
Cornelius in one arm in a bucket.
He's very violent.
Squishy.
Very violent.
In the other.
Squish can run circles around me, so he's fine. Misha, I have to carry because she's old and she can't go downstairs. So that happened, and that just made me realize a lot of things about myself. Like, in an emergency, I will grab the most immediate thing in front of me, and I will just fucking get the fuck out. If I had a child asleep in a crib, I would have been, like, out the door, and I would be like, "My child!" Which is why I would never have children. Because I'd probably forget them in a fire. Come on, I'm telling you, this is a problem. That's why I don't have too many things that rely on me, okay? Just a few pets, one of which I forgot.
So you're the reason why in superhero films there's always that one random lady going, "My child, my child."
Yeah, that would be me. I feel like I forgot my child.
Yo, that 100%. You still did good. I'll give you your kudos.
Because I took the dogs.
Yeah, same experience. You made it out the building.
That's true.
The same experience happened to, funny enough, me and Alex. This is when we lived at Moy Ross, so like by York.
Okay.
We still lived with his mom, and there's a fire. It was...
Like
I'll never forget
fire?
it. Yep, 5 a.m. in the morning.
Shit.
The fire alarm goes off, and we're all like... We're all annoyed, and then it just kept going.
Because you don't think it's real, right?
And then we're all like...
You're like, "Oh, shit."
How long has that been going on for? They're like, "Should we leave?" I'm like... We look outside, there's not really anyone there, there's no fire trucks yet, but we're like... Yeah, I think we should leave. So as a group, me, his mom, him, and I can't remember, there's someone else there. We all decide... I think it was Kobe, his cousin. We all decide, okay, we'll leave. We'll go outside. So we go outside, and there's like... 2 or 3 families outside. It's cold.
Just hold 1 second. Can you hear the noises outside?
Just tell
I was gonna say, like...
It still sounds like it's
coming from here. Coming from here.
Well, it's coming from everywhere.
Oh, you didn't close it.
Oh, no, I may have opened it.
That's crazy.
That's so funny.
Yeah, you did one job. One job.
Apparently...
Damn fucking job.
Listen, it's just a day of mistakes today.
I didn't forget the
I left my turtle in a fire. He opened the window.
Turtle soup, don't worry.
Yeah.
Turtles are don't worry?
No, turtle
what?
soup.
Turtle soup? Stop it. He's also like less than halfway through his life. I would have been really sad. He lives a long time. If he just died that way, I wouldn't ever forgive myself. Like, poor Cornelius. He's also partially Jordan's child, by the way.
Yeah, Jordan said he named him.
Yeah, so the reason he's named
name.
Cornelius is because Jordan has always wanted a turtle named Cornelius.
I think
and he always talked to me about it. A human name. Really? I guess they're both
Really?
human names.
You have 4 great names, and you guys went a whole different way? Michelangelo, Leonardo,
No, Cornelius.
Donatello.
Cornelius.
Franklin?
Fuck Franklin.
What do you mean, fuck Franklin?
Wasn't Franklin a turtle?
I had
Yes,
a huge,
he
like,
was.
I had a huge
Franklin.
Franklin plushie
Hey,
that was like my
Franklin.
size as a child. I used to sleep with.
Okay, when you said your size as a child, I pictured you as adult size. So
No.
I'm like, that's so big and
I
scary.
was like an 8-year-old child, and it's like the size of an 8-year-old child, and I would
That
like
is
sleep
still
with him.
so big.
He was my best friend. I love turtles. Okay. Anyways, so what happened with your story with the fire and everything?
Yeah, there was like 3 families out there. We were one of them. And it turned out to be a real fire, I think. Mm-hmm. Someone had lit something on fire on like the stairwell or something.
Oh my god. I've heard those stories before. Some idiot kid like
Yep, someone did something
sets
stupid.
a fire there.
So it wasn't like a big deal, but like it was kind of alarming that only 3 families decided, hey, I'd leave. There's some people.
Most people don't, like, because they don't think it's real. And I'm not surprised because, like, that was my immediate reaction. I was, like, sitting there for like 10 minutes before I was like, it's still going.
No,
like,
that's
this might
a
be
long
real.
time.
Yeah, it is a long time. I was like, I'm going to log into work. It's probably a false alarm. And it kept going and going.
Could you imagine if it was real and you're just, like, doing work like, oh, it's getting fucking hot in here.
Right? And then it's like...
and you're like, why is it still getting hot in here?
Yeah.
Turn up the AC.
Oh my god, okay, it wouldn't be that bad. What are you gonna say?
I was just saying, if there was ever a fire in here, honestly, I'd die because I'd sleep through it because I think it was a fake one. Here, it doesn't tell you this is a test. It just starts beep, beep.
You know what
beep.
they should do?
And then in individual units, you have your own, like, essentially fire alarm buzzer thingy, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, like, you push a button and that alarm in your unit will cease. But it will come back if the alarm keeps going off. But my dumb ass always, someone's just turn it off.
They shouldn't even have that as an option because
well, it's a good thing to have. I believe it's also like a some kind of communication too, like between you and whoever is on the other side of it, right?
But I think the one thing they should do, because they do so many of those tests and they do so many false alarms, I feel like what they should do is like, instead of just an alarm going, it should be like, this is not a drill.
Like
it
Amber
should
Alerts.
specify, this is not a
I would
drill.
also say, like,
right?
maybe having a light in it, like a light bulb or something.
Yeah,
that would
where it's
flash
like, yeah.
green if it's like a test.
Like, it should be, because...
Or red if it's real.
Because the problem is, like, you know, like I said, in my building, they're very, very, like, they stick to the code. Like, if the code says test it every month, they do it. Like, they're really good. But the problem with that is exactly what happened today, where, like, no one left only a few people left. Like, even when I was downstairs, I saw a bunch of people leaving, but the majority of people didn't leave. And I just assumed either, like, they were at work, or, because, like, you know, I work from home, right? Or maybe, like, they weren't taking it seriously, right?
Someone in my story stayed behind.
Yeah.
Someone in the house was like, it's probably a drill, and stayed.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is, like, this is actually a problem when you think about it, because it's like, everyone thinks it's just a drill. No one takes it seriously. So I feel like if they say something like, this is not a drill, please evacuate, then it's more alarming than because you're like,
I feel like that's kind of like the problem when you live in a building.
Yeah.
Where it's just like you brush off a lot of the things that you wouldn't if you were in a house, where it's like...
Yeah, because in the house it's more immediate. Like,
well, it's like it's on you to be responsible for all those things.
But the moment you hear the smoke alarm that's like, there's a fire, and you're like, you check it out and you're like, oh my god, there's a freaking fire. But when you're in a huge building with like 20-something floors, yeah, you're like, I don't know what this is.
I almost set this building on fire one time.
Oh my god. We're
live.
live.
I was cooking eggs, and I went to my room because I put them on low heat. I was trying to like poach them. Mm-hmm. I went to my room. A few hours later, I wake up to a fire.
Few hours,
yeah.
you fell asleep.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Have you ever caused a fire?
Me?
Like
I
that
did
was the
once.
first fire you caused?
I did once in high school at my friend's house.
Not in high school. I was in middle school. I first moved to Brampton. I was in grade 8, I believe. I lit a residential park on fire.
On purpose or by accident?
I refuse to answer that.
I'm not incriminate myself. So one time, I will tell you this story. It's actually, it's pretty funny and fucked up. So this was like my best friend at the time. I was at her house. And we decided we were gonna boil. I don't remember if we were just boiling water or boiling tea or something on the stove in a pot, right? And so we put it on highest heat to boil. And we left to, like, I don't know, play games or whatever, and we totally forgot about it entirely. And then we went upstairs to her room.
Oh my god.
And, like, this was, like, I don't even remember how long this was, maybe an hour, 2 hours, whatever. We totally forgot about this freaking pot. So at some point, I guess all of the liquid evaporated, and there was just a pot on fire. Just burning. And we were smelling smoke. We smelled smoke. And then the smoke alarm went off. We're like, what is going on? And we're like, oh my god, we totally forgot. And we ran downstairs. And then all you hear is, like, her dad screaming, like, what did you guys do? And we're like, we run downstairs and, like, pot is, like, burning. And we were just like, oh my god, we turned it off. I don't even remember what my friend did. but it was like the most terrifying. And that pot was just destroyed. It was black. It was like completely like we couldn't use that pot anymore. I felt really bad about that.
For losing the pot or almost burning the house down?
Almost burning the house down.
Just for an FYI, there's actually a way to bring the pot back.
Is there? What is it?
I hear tapping. Oh.
No more
sorry.
tapping, please.
That's my bad. But actually, oddly enough, Coke helps, like Coca-Cola.
Okay, I was like,
No,
I
Coca-Cola.
was like, we're not buying
why do we
Coke.
talk about cocaine on this episode?
I never said
Every
nothing of
time.
the sorts.
You can't just say Coke and make us think that like after all the times we've mentioned Coke. There's you're not
thing.
watching. Yeah, it's a thing. It's become a thing. So
What?
you're not noticed?
That we bring up cocaine every...
Like almost every episode. It's very often. All right, let's move on from this.
Hold on, wait.
No more
Not the
arson
Coke.
stories.
Hold on, no, I have to say mine. I have to say
Oh,
mine.
you told your story
No,
already.
no.
Oh, you have a different one?
We're
live.
Yeah, it's fine. I didn't.
Remember that.
Yeah, it's fine. I didn't do it intentionally, but it was bad.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a chef. I was how old was I? 16. I was the chef at camp, a co-chef, and I was making fries. Now, when I was a camper, I hated the fries because it was always baked in the oven.
Yeah.
So it was always like soggy, and I
What?
hated
How
them.
did they bake it?
Because they just put the fries in the oven on a tray.
But that's what I do. It's never soggy.
It's soggy. Come on, soggy.
Okay, I don't know. They must do something
They
to
never
it.
came out crispy.
Okay.
Like, I'm like, these fries are never good.
All right.
So I'm like,
yeah.
I'm going to fry them.
The deep fry them.
Yeah. So I get these 2 big trays.
Mm-hmm.
And I put the oil in the tray and I have them going. And, they're kind of like deep frying them there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's 2 big trays, not pots, trays.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when I'm switching out the fries, they're covered in oil, right? I'm clearly taking...
Oh, God.
So the oil must have dripped and splashed onto the fire, the burner, which then caught the whole thing on fire. So I was like, and I was pretty relaxed about this. I was like, oh,
You're like,
shit.
oh, no.
Now, I was young, 16. I just want to say that, 16 for the record.
16.
So I went to go get water because I'm cooking. I'm like, oh, just put this fire out. So I went to go get water.
Oh, no.
And someone runs in and was like, Jameel, you fucking idiot. Yeah, before I do that, like I was about to put the water on it. Like I was running it, and they were like, Jameel, you fucking idiot, use water. And they were like, use flour. So they grabbed flour and we threw flour on it and we put it out.
Oh, that's perfect. That's great. I'm glad you didn't almost die in a fire.
Explosion, Nick.
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't die in a fire.
Yeah, so fun fact, almost blew up the kitchen and myself.
Good
Because
job.
I didn't know better. I didn't know flour was to put out grease fires. I know now.
But you know what's funny is this was a topic I was going to bring up way later, but this reminds me of the show I've been watching, which I mentioned to you guys. I Shouldn't Be Alive is what it's called.
Who was watching that?
Jordan
Okay,
recommended
yes.
it to me, and it's consumed my life for the last week. And the majority of stories are situations like that where people don't think things through, and they end up in these situations where they almost die. And but there are people like there are people who are genuinely experienced that were like in freak accidents, like they fell off the ATV and it crushed their legs, or this guy went to pee and a boulder fell on him and like shit like that. There's just like you don't expect to happen, but it happens in the wilderness.
Or you were on a yacht and there's a storm and knocked you off the yacht.
No, that was the first story.
Yeah, that's the one he was watching.
And that was stupid in my opinion. It's like, why would you take a yacht out to sea and think things would just be okay? Like, I'm just saying, like, like the sea is...
Wait. Did you just ask why someone takes a boat out to sea?
A yacht
It's still a
sea. But it's...
The sea is a little different,
The
though.
sea is fucked, bro. Like, the majority of these stories, it's like the yacht can't withstand, like, the storms. The reason their yacht was destroyed was because of a storm that came along that they weren't expecting. But it's like, you need to expect that the weather might rapidly change when you're on sea. And the majority of these people don't understand that. And that's why they end up in those situations. I know that there are people who are experienced and they take a small boat out and they know how to deal with it. But then there's stories like that too, where their boat ends up destroyed.
I'm no expert when
Yeah.
it comes to boating or
Yeah,
anything.
yeah,
I
yeah.
just, it is a boat. it's supposed
Yeah,
to
but
be
it's
in...
different. It's
Okay.
different.
Yeah, I would-
Yachts are not.
That's where
They're
I'm not I
yeah,
don't
yachts
know.
are not because like after watching this show, I've learned way too much about this. Where it's like because the boats that typically go to sea
Are big, giant.
big giants that can withstand the pressure of like the storms and the waves.
Because
and-
those storms
and
are
sharks,
different.
Fucking sharks, bro.
I was
Sorry.
about to say, yeah, those storms.
Sharks!
You can get like fucking waves 100 feet tall at times too.
Yo.
Depending on how bad
and
weather
then
is,
it
right?
smashes the windows, and then it's flooding
Well,
inside the
there's-
yacht.
The windows they have in those big ships, if I'm not mistaken, are the same shit they put in spaceships. No.
Probably, I wouldn't be
To
surprised.
withstand the pressure
but like,
from the water, no?
but the yachts, their glass like windows are not meant for something like that. Like yachts are not supposed to like, and
They're not sea ready.
No, and so it's just so crazy.
Well, if you guys look what's going on line right now over in your right, they got killer whales attacking boats
Oh, is that happening right now?
right now as we speak.
I'm not surprised. I mean, like, orcas have been
Those
screwed over by
motherfuckers, they're too
humans for
smart.
years.
Yo,
They hold the grudge in their brain. They're like,
I
yo,
will
you took
not
my
lie.
child.
I will not lie.
Yeah.
Big animals scare the fuck out of me.
As they should.
They are these.
You should be scared of them.
The two-
Bears? Bro, bears?
No, see-
They're like tanks.
They
They're
are.
like
No,
built like
see,
tanks.
See, bears aren't even. I know to be scared of bears. You know what? You know what I find to be the scariest thing?
Whales?
No, whales.
Sharks? Whales are pretty
yes.
scary. Like,
Whales
they're
are
not-
terrifying. They're so big.
Yeah.
They are just the
I have
scale.
nightmares. I have nightmares of being in the sea and a whale, like, and I know that they're that. I know, yeah, because I know that like if they were to swallow you, it would be an accident. Most of it, because they eat like plankton and shit, right? Most whales, but it's still fucking scary. Like seeing something that
See,
huge.
but that's what terrifies me the most. Are things that can kill you by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like it didn't even mean to do it. You were just in the crossfire.
Did you know? And what's funny is like when I watch this show, they do give a lot of misinformation about sharks because they talk about sharks like hammerheads are the known man eaters and stuff. This is an old show. It was like 2006, so I feel like there was a lot of misinformation.
We got Shark Week now.
Yeah, now we know. But one thing you know about sharks now is that they're actually very shy, and they might mistake you as food, like if you're on the surface with like paddles and stuff, like they might think you're a turtle or something. But what sharks typically do is they bite to see what you are. Like that's how they actually sense things. So they use their bite, and the problem is that they'll bite a human and realize, oh, like I don't like this. And they're like, but their bite is so strong that it's typically like can kill you or make you bleed out or you lose an arm or something like that.
Or get infected.
Or gangrene or something like that. So but when I'm watching this show, it's like sharks. When they see your raft or they see you floating in the water after an accident, they think that you're food. So they're going to go for you. And so, like, I don't know. Like, even if you have a small boat, like a yacht or whatever, I don't think you could withstand, like, creatures like that. Right? Maybe, but I don't know.
Maybe certain ones. Yachts are fairly big, but I know sharks.
Maybe a yacht
Sharks
can
can be.
withstand it.
Yeah, maybe. It's a maybe.
It's a baby.
But-
It's a big maybe.
But the animal that scares me the most are moose.
They're very violent, actually.
Yeah.
They're very violent. They're scary.
Motherfuckers be aggressive
swim.
as fuck.
You know what scares me more than
can swim.
you know what scares me more than moose though? Hippos. There's an episode on the show. There's
No,
guys.
I will tell you.
No, hippos?
No.
Listen,
Moose.
hippos.
No.
Hippos. No, you have to listen to me. You have to listen to me. So there's an episode on the show, and I knew about this before I watched this episode, but they were in what was it? The Zambezi River in Africa, and they were saying how it's the most crocodile infested, but they said that there were tons of hippos, and they're like, yeah, we passed by the hippos, and usually they leave you alone if you leave some space. I'm like, are you and the reason they ended up in the water was because a hippo out of nowhere came and destroyed their boat. All it did was wreck their boat and leave. And it left, it destroyed their boat, it left, and it sat and it watched them as they struggled in the water.
Petty motherfucker, petty.
Hippos are psychopaths. They're just like, they just see a boat and they just see red. They're so angry. They're like freaking bulls, and they're like, fuck this boat.
What I learned about hippos, though, they're very territorial, though, right?
Yes, that's probably why.
What one male's supposed to hold like a whole herd of what do you call it? Female hippopotamuses?
Yeah.
I don't know what the
Hippos, hippopotami.
I don't know, but whatever.
Yeah,
one male's supposed to take care of them, and when another male comes in,
that was probably the male who did that, right?
More than likely,
yeah. He was probably like, "Yo, get the fuck away from my
female
bitches."
hippos are very shy until, from my understanding, they're very shy until they're nursing. Once they're nursing, like any.
But that's the problem. It's like you never know, right? Like when you're in the wild.
I'm more scared of
moose.
Mooses are tanks.
Mooses are more of a immediate threat, like in Canada, in comparison, because we don't really often see.
It's not just that they're in Canada. The fact that they're in Canada also terrifies me. But it's the fact that if you were to hit one with a car, your car is getting wrecked.
Yeah, but
those
that's like
things
that with
are
a lot of
so big. And here's the thing: they're aggressive. If you think,
yeah.
Like.
Have you seen two mooses like fight?
No, I'm terrified. And what the whole thing about them swimming, they found moose carcasses in Wales because they decided, yo, I'm just gonna go swim out in the sea and got ate by accident.
You know what? That's actually a myth, apparently.
No, it is.
Fact check, because Jacques told me this fact. You know what's funny? Jacques told me that fact when we first met. I feel like he was trying to like win me over with like, I know things. And he was just like, did you know that moose's biggest predators are whales? It did make me laugh like really hard at the time. This was like 8 years ago. But
because moose are just insane.
But I found out that it's actually, I think it's a myth. I need a fact checker on that. Can you check to see if moose actually are commonly attacked by whales?
I don't think it's common, but it does occur.
It does. Maybe.
Because they decide to go out to just...
Because it became a fact, and then I feel like someone basically dispelled it. Like, no, it's not true.
Yeah, I don't think it's common practice, but it's happened.
Yeah.
Because they are just crazy.
Moose are scary. They are scary.
They will just, if they want you dead, you're dead. You are.
But hippos have the same attitude.
Yeah. Okay. Hippos do.
And they're almost as fast as a speedboat. Like I've seen one chasing a speedboat.
Oh my God.
I've seen one chasing a speedboat. And it almost caught up.
That's in water. Put them outside of water. Yes, they can run.
Yeah, but a speedboat wouldn't be outside of water. I'm saying in the water. Like if you're in a speedboat, like imagine if a whale's chasing you compared to a hippo. The hippos. What are you pointing at? What's up?
I think she checked it.
Oh.
Summertime. I think in the summertime they're most likely basically to be attacked by killer whales.
Oh, I see. Okay, so then it does happen. Oh, no, Mike. It's okay. It's fine. It's over now.
So,
it's too late.
It's a fact.
So it's a
fact. It happens.
But there's a video of like a guy was on a speedboat and a hippo was chasing him and it was like inches from his boat, like about to get him. And that scared the crap out of me. I was like, after that, I was like, if I ever see a hippo, I'm like, I would probably die. I would probably die immediately, but you know, I'm gonna run.
Yo, I'm not gonna
rhinos
walk up.
too. Rhinos.
I was just about to say, think about that.
Rhinos are the land hippos.
Those stubby fucking legs. They don't have toes. They don't have webbed feet.
And they're
They
just
got
like,
these stumps as legs. How the fuck are they swimming that fast?
It's all muscle. It's all they're just
Dude.
violently like boom.
Yo,
or like
it is.
rhinos are the land hippos. And have you seen a rhino? Like rhinos are like bears. You see them off in the distance, you're probably dead because you can run as fast as you can. It'll catch up to you. You're gone. The moment it sets its sights on you, you're done. Like
Elephants
you have no
too.
way.
Elephants
are actually pretty scary.
No, they're nice, but like if
No,
you
but they're pretty scary.
Yeah, they're gigantic. They can easily kill you. But if you also piss off an elephant,
you're done.
Did you hear about that one story of the lady who the elephant had a grudge with, and when she died, the elephant came to her grave and stomped on it?
Yeah, because they remember. They remember. They have better
like,
memories than us,
I can
probably.
smell this bitch. Boom, boom, boom.
Like, even in this show that I'm watching, sorry, it's so bad. Like, every scenario you could think of that's happens in this show. Like, there was a scenario where they were stuck in the African bush, as they call it. I like that when they call it the African bush. But, they were basically in the wild, and one of them was trying to go get help because I think they crash landed or whatever. He was trying to get help for everyone else who was injured. And an elephant saw him, and I don't know what, I guess he saw it as a threat, and it started just shaking the tree next to him, and it was like about to break the tree down to like knock it onto him. And I was like, bro, they're scary. Like most of the time elephants will like leave you alone, but sometimes if they feel threatened, they will come for you.
Well, they just don't like you.
Or they just
I was
feel
gonna
like
say I don't think that's necessarily true actually, because A lot of the elephants we see in videos doing that have been socialized with humans already.
No, but this was a retelling of a story. It wasn't like it was like a reenactment. So so it was like it wasn't a real video. He was just saying that like he was trying to get help, and the elephant started doing that. But the thing is the elephant. I think the elephant realized he was injured and not a threat, and he just like it left. So it started doing that. Maybe it was trying to scare him off or something.
Maybe it was like a gorilla.
He really thought he was gonna die. He was like, I'm gonna die right now. Like his elephant's gonna fucking
Yo, I'm gonna die. Die by elephant.
And I think the thing that messes me up the most about this show is like my worst fears come to life are in these episodes. Like I think I told you there was one where they crash landed in the mountains, and finally one of the guys went to get help. He got a signal on his phone, finally was able to call for help. Helicopter came, got the guy, then he directed them to where everyone else is. Then they crashed into the mountain, and their only means of escape crashed into the freaking mountain. And they were just lucky that another search and rescue team was on foot and happened to find them at the same time, because they would have died. Like, they would have died of hypothermia.
Did the other one that crashed, did everyone die?
They were fine. They were fine. So, like, they saved them too. So, basically, the search and rescue team, like, and there was another one where, like, these guys were in a freak accident in the mountain. Like, they were, like, mountain climbing, and one of them, like, injured himself severely where he couldn't walk. And then the other guy who could walk, he stomped an SOS in the snow. And this guy with his wife, who was just like driving his own plane, sees the SOS. He's like, "Honey, we have to land. We gotta help these people, right?" They crash land. They crash land trying to save these people.
Yo,
then they were stranded in the mountains.
Did they at least phone it in first? Like, hey, we see an SOS here.
No.
Yo, you know those situations where it's like the best thing you can do is help yourself first.
I think the problem with a lot of those, because the thing is, like, these were civilians who saw the SOS.
I know, but
so they
still.
they clearly didn't know that they should have just alerted people to come to the SOS and told them where
even
it was.
if you were to go to like help out, you still alert someone of your. I feel like if I'm gonna go do something, if I'm gonna go save someone.
I think they were able to alert though, because like I think after the crash they I can't remember now, but I think they did like a mayday or whatever after the crash. But I've noticed that in these episodes is that they do that a lot, where after they crash they try to call out a mayday through the radio.
You call first, then.
That's what I was thinking. I'm like, that's what you're supposed to do, right? The moment you think you're gonna crash, you call mayday, mayday. But
I think even before that, like if you're gonna like try and rescue someone, you just call it in. Let someone know.
That's the reasonable thing to do, right? I think a lot of these were like well-meaning people that did stupid things without thinking it through.
They went in head first.
They were like, let's go save them.
I need saving.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was. They were like, they see an SOS, they freak out, panic. They're like, oh my god, people are about to die. Let's go save them. And then they crash land. They were all okay. They all ended up okay, right?
Yeah, thank God.
Thank God. But it's like, but then when I hear these stories, I'm like, oh my god. Like, it stresses me out. I haven't slept. I haven't slept for a week.
I've just been watching these videos.
I'm on season 4 after a week. That tells you something.
Yeah. I was gonna say, you know what else I find really scary out in the jungles and stuff?
Yeah. Oh my god, Amazon rainforest. Those are the worst episodes. It's horrible.
I don't think this. The other creature that scares me are there certain insects.
Mosquitoes.
Not even just mosquitoes.
Sandflies.
I don't know which one it is.
Sandflies are turbocharged mosquitoes. They're the worst.
Okay. Well, there's this one insect. I think you find it in, I want to say India, but it could be Australia. Oh, but, like, if you step on this insect... No, if you just step on it, all you have to do is step on it and crush it. It's so toxic that you will die within 10 days.
But that's what I'm saying is like...
And it's just like, yo, cause of death, we don't know. He died it looks like he got poisoned. When did he get poisoned? We don't know.
I was just gonna ask, how would you even know if when or what, like how this happened?
That's the thing. It would show up in your blood work that you know.
So you just you said like if you step on it or something. If, what is it? Step, bite,
the toxins.
Like,
I guess
you can just crush it. All you have to do is
just
crush
a toxin
it.
that
it's so toxic.
Wow, that's crazy.
That if it's you step on it and your skin.
And this is why I don't venture out into these places for fun.
You are dead in 10 days.
That's kind of like a millipede,
everywhere.
actually. Huh? No, that's kind of like a millipede. Millipedes, anything that eats it, they like.
Oh, they're that toxic?
Well, millipede, not to us, but like.
But to
their
other
self-defense
creatures?
thing is like they're toxic, right? So if anything eats it, they get sick and like
Yeah.
severe sickness, right? So it teaches animals that have eaten it not to fuck
Eat
with it.
other
again.
ones.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, that's so
crazy.
cool.
You're like, that's cool, and I'm like, that's crazy.
Well, I was saying, like, can you imagine, like, for a species, you're like, okay, I'm dead, but I'm gonna make sure that the rest of
I'm
the
gonna make sure
homies are
you
good.
died too.
Nah, you won't even hit the homies back. Why? Because you know.
That's like the last like revenge almost. You know, I had someone tell me this really messed up story where they had a pet rat, I think, and then they had a pet gecko. Like, I don't know if it was a leopard gecko, but a type of gecko. Apparently,
And
the
they
rat
fought?
escaped the cage, got into the gecko cage. I think it ate the gecko, and it was so poisonous that it died. So it was like they found basically a half-eaten dead gecko and a dead rat. Huh? I think it was poisonous to the rat. I think like
Why did
no,
the
I
rat
think
want to
I think
eat
it
the
was
gecko?
poisonous to the rat, like when
But-
it ingested it.
Why
I
did
think-
they want
I
to
don't
eat
think
the gecko,
geckos
though?
have any kind of poison.
They
or
can have
toxins in them,
salmonella or
though.
something. I say poisonous.
Hold on, but like,
I don't know if they have a poison,
Geckos
but
don't
it
need-
obviously caused it to die
yeah.
in some
Remember,
way.
different animals have a different biology.
Yeah.
Like, they can't, like, dogs can't eat chocolate.
Yeah, and rats can't have peppers. They can die from peppers.
From peppers?
Yeah.
What about mice?
I don't know, actually. I
Is
don't.
that how you just
I
kill
don't know.
mice to leave some peppers out?
I don't know about mice. I just know rats. I know rats can't have peppers. From what I maybe
Like
I'm
raw
wrong.
pepper? Do we make like, can I make like a pepper paste?
I mean, you could.
So
Why?
that
Why
is
do you
rat
have a
poison?
rat problem?
I just want to get rich.
What?
I'm gonna sell it.
There is rat poison.
No, homemade rat poison. Guys, we're gonna make a video.
I'm pretty sure they would avoid the pepper.
No,
Like,
that's why you gotta make it into like a peanut butter paste.
maybe that might work, but like I don't know
I
if
heard
it
they
would
like
be
peanut
enough.
butter.
Yeah, they do actually. If you want to trap a mouse or a rat, is peanut butter.
Peanut
Anyways,
butter,
we
gelatin,
are
peanut
okay. We're
butter,
going off very
gelatin.
off topic.
Hey.
So
Sorry.
it's fine. So anyways, I'm traumatized. We talked about our trauma. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Oh my god.
So
This whole time I've been thinking about like how big a whale is and just its eye being bigger than me.
it's so scary.
And its eye. Can you imagine just you know what's also scary?
What?
Octopus.
They actually squid can be really
Sorry,
violent.
squid
Can be really violent. There's this squid. They talked about it on the show that just like it attacks you, and I don't remember where it was in the sea, and it devours you with its beak, and it's very violent. And you know, imagine it being slowly ripped apart by a squid. Like,
Oh my god, slowly? What do you mean slowly? Its suction is so strong that
it'll just immediately.
it'll just rip you apart.
At least it'll be quick.
Think about it. Just will grab you like
At
this.
least it'll
and
be
just
quick.
pop.
See, my worst fear would be like slowly dying of like an animal eating me. You know,
Well, like I
being
don't think you
slowly
die
ripped
slow.
apart.
I think you
get
would
like
drown.
you know what crocodiles do? That's another episode. They do the. Do you know the death roll?
Yeah. Oh my.
Oh!
Hold on, wait. I want to talk about the
There
death
was
roll.
one guy who survived the death roll in
Hold
the
on.
show.
I want to talk about the death roll.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about
So
the death
there's a
roll.
movie,
Oh god,
a movie out called I think it's called Crocodile. I
it's
think.
just called crocodile.
Yeah, it's just called
Have you seen
crocodile.
crocodiles in real life? I have. They're insane. They're dinosaurs. They're huge. They're fucking scary,
Stop this. Nope.
bro.
I can think of alligators and alligators.
Alligators are smaller.
I don't.
Crocodiles are like. Anyways, go on. Yes,
Okay.
crocodile.
So in this movie,
yes.
so basically it's like a town gets flooded, and the flood ends up releasing the crocodiles in the zoo, I think. Or no, it wasn't in the zoo. I think the crocodiles were like in the pond because it's like Florida or something.
Oh yeah, Florida's
So, like-
filled with crocs.
So like, whatever happened, the crocodiles are now everywhere in the city, like in the town. Because the town flooded, crocodiles are now everywhere.
Okay. All right.
And it's not even like one or two, it's a shit ton.
Yeah.
Just a shit ton of
So this
crocodiles.
is like a horror movie or something?
Sort of,
like
like,
a thriller-ish? Yeah.
So in this one house that the crocodiles end up being like released in, they're stuck in the house with the crocodiles,
Oh my
and they're
God.
trying to get out. And they almost got out, but they got attacked by crocs, which forced them to go back in the house. And then the crocs were like circling the house basically. Then they were actually in the house because their house connected to the sewer, sort of. So then the crocs got in. The crocs got in,
This
and
is
then we're in the
crazy.
basement. Then they were in the basement with the crocs and trying to get out. And it was just a shit show. And they were trying to make it upstairs, but the water kept rising.
So what about the death roll?
So by the end, the main girl I think, ends up being grabbed by the croc, and the croc does the death roll.
Yeah.
And she manages to, like, she has this flashback sequence, and then she ends up getting out. And, like...
How did she get out? Did he just let go?
I don't think she let go. I think she ended up, like, I think the moral was, like, she wasn't a fighter, and she finally decided to fight. So she ended up, like, fighting the croc, and the croc let go after it did the death roll.
Do you want to know a way
it literally did the death roll, though.
Do you want to know a way you could save yourself from the death roll? Which is, like, how this guy saved himself?
How?
It sounds counterintuitive, but you use your other arm, if he has your arm or wherever it has it, use your other arm and shove it into the mouth and try to get the flap in the back of their throat, because they have a flap there to prevent them... Maybe, but this was one thing that he did that saved him, because the flap in the back of his throat is to prevent water from getting in when they're underwater. So when you reach for that flap and they feel it, they let go most of the time. But yeah, it's one of those things. Obviously, if you're in a death roll situation, it's like you're probably gonna die. But you know,
if
that's
you
the
have
last.
A second to think,
yeah, there's a last ditch
everything
effort.
in your...
Shove your hand in other hand in the mouth and be like, flap.
Yo, where the flap is? I'm gonna reach down there and grab your heart, you son of a bitch.
And I think I heard the same thing about sharks, not to reach in, but like to like hit the nose or something.
Yeah, I heard
you have to like
thump them. You give them a good thump. You're like, yo,
you're like, boom, and then you freak it out. And the thing is most of the time in those situations, you're so terrified you can't react. Yeah.
If you turn sharks upside down, it puts them in a, I don't know if the word is catatonic or whatever, but they basically become docile if they go upside down.
Do you think you could do that with a great white?
Do you know how big it is? It's like an ant flipping this.
I mean, if it's a smaller shark, maybe. But
if you're
I feel
underwater, you're just using, like, you just rotate that bitch. Rotate him.
Just
get rotated,
yo,
nerd.
Buddy. Just grab his face and be like, yo.
Pretty much, yeah.
You just stop him from moving. You're just like, I'm gonna swim in the opposite direction.
Yeah, so like you hit his nose.
And then swim.
You hit his nose and then it kind of stuns them, and then you rotate them on like to be upside down.
Can you imagine a shark attack? Like you get trapped, a shark attack. I was like, putting the words together, and then you come out the water with the shark, and you're like, I'm eating shark today.
Oh my god! You know they have shark fin soup as a delicacy in some areas.
Shark skin is actually
it's
really
rough.
really tough.
So I know I remember like someone saying it's like one direction it's smooth, the other direction it's like razor blades. It's like super sharp.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
It's
like a cat's tongue.
I was looking into shark skin because. I'm into fashion. I do sewing, so I wanted to.
Oh my god, you're doing shark skin clothing?
No, not shark skin clothing.
Oh, like
I
pattern.
wanted not a pattern, but I was looking at how different animals' skins are and how like it's structured, and I was like, I can't wait till we can create something so structurally beautiful as a comparison. Just like that, we can make something that's like more rugged in one direction but soft in another, that like it's just more flexible, but we're not quite there with all of that. Like sharks, it's biologically
fun fact sharks are the reason we have life-saving vaccines. They use a lot of material from shark for vaccines. Yeah, and they're endangered now, so we have to take care of the sharks.
We have to protect them.
We actually do. Because, like, in all honesty, the reason most people die from sharks is because you're in their fucking territory. Don't go in their territory. Stop going in the sea to be doing dumb shit. You know what I mean? But, like, and there's not that many shark attacks a year. I think this is only, like, a few. It's really not that often.
Do you know what period in time, which everything will come full circle, but the period, have you heard of the period of time with the super animals, where the oxygen was more like, I guess, so pure, and like the clearings were bigger, like everything hadn't like really sprouted at the moment, so there were super animals. Like, you think mooses are big now? There were bigger mooses, bigger bears, bigger everything. Everything.
Like dire wolves, which are extinct now. They used to be huge. They were like triple the size of regular
everything
wolves.
was just bigger.
And they had enormous sloths too. Yeah. Okay, that's what you're talking about.
There was like an era of human, or not human evolution.
What's funny is a lot of sea
big.
life has remained that way. I guess the megalodon is dead, like the huge, enormous shark that used to live, but it's like no longer. But giant squids still exist. Like they confirmed it. There's a lot of sea life that still survived. That's like pretty huge.
I think with sea life, it's a bit more untouched by us, but
Yeah,
on
so
land,
it's easier for them to
Can
like.
I go back to the giant squid thing? Have we found a live one?
Yeah, they found it.
A
They
live
found,
one?
Well, I don't know
think
about a
all the
live one,
ones-
but they found dead ones.
So we can't necessarily. Well, I guess they're still around, but
Well, if you find a dead body, you know that it existed at some point. I don't know if, but there have been sightings. There have been sightings, and I think the problem is that they live deeper. I think
they do. They live
with
in the depths
with
of like the.
with the sea.
yeah.
There's so much uncharted territory that a lot of the life that we find that's dead, we can't even reach the points where they're probably thriving. Right?
By that means then, it's actually said the megalodon is still potentially
There's
alive.
theories. There's theories that a
And
lot
I'm
of.
using air quotations just so
Didn't
people
they
don't
find
get
a
mad.
sturgeon that was like 300 years old
Well,
or
they
something?
found a tooth.
Oh no!
a
What was it?
ginormous tooth.
Coelacanth, whatever they're called. That fish. It was like a prehistoric fish, and they found one alive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they
Shot
thought
that,
it was
right?
dead.
Yeah.
It was like a huge fish.
No, I
And
think it was. Oh, sorry.
no, I think it was like. Hold on, I might have to Google this.
I know I seen one like that too, where it was like a long.
There's a couple.
It was
They
like
thought
a-
it was extinct.
It looked almost
Yeah.
like an eel with a shark head, with like a.
I don't know how to pronounce it. It's like Coelacanth or Coelacanth. I think that was it.
Relicanth.
Maybe it was a relicanth. I don't know. I just know that there was a fish that they found that they thought was extinct. It was a prehistoric fish, and they found a live one, and they estimated it to be living for like 100 years or some shit. Like it lived a long time. And I'm not surprised because like we don't know what's going. Like when they talk about Loch Ness monster. Like, maybe not Loch Ness, but like when they talk about like creatures they see in the sea, I'm like, I wouldn't be surprised if there were huge freaking dinosaurs still living at the bottom. Like, we don't freaking know.
Yeah.
We have no clue what's down there. And if we see crocodiles make me believe that dinosaurs still
Well, look
exist.
at-
They're crazy.
Do you remember? Because I clearly remember this when they found Komodo dragons.
Well, I don't know about when I never like looked up when they found
No,
it.
no.
Yeah.
We found Komodo dragons within our lifetime. So Komodo dragons weren't a thing.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, look it up. Komodo
That's
dragons were
crazy.
found only in like 2002, maybe. That's when they found.
That's the first time they found it.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a lot of wildlife that they're randomly finding. Like, there was like a whole new bird they found like 10 years ago or something that
Yeah.
they never heard of before.
There's still parts that.
They actually just found a new species of spiders.
But it's crazy. But I'm not surprised because when I watch, sorry, I'm going back to the show, but when I watch like when they're in the Amazon rainforest, like when you go into like anyone who goes into those jungle areas that are heavy, dense with trees and bush and everything, it's like a lot of it's uncharted. A lot of it is not frequently dealt with. Like maybe there's some patches of like humans in villages that might like go in there or go like to a certain, but a lot of it is like left alone, and you never know what like animals are living there, what new animals are coming up, right? If you believe in evolution, right? There could be like creatures that are forming that are adapting to the new environments. Right?
Evolution is real. I don't understand how people did.
I know. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
that because I
Look
know.
at, we have a new species.
Dude,
Grizzly-
humans are evolving at a rapid rate because of technology, right? There's like a
believe
new
that.
article about it. Like, there's a lot of the babies now are born without wisdom teeth or something, and apparently that was something that they predicted for like the far future, but it's happening faster than they expected. So it's like it's actually crazy seeing how quickly like certain
how evolution could
yeah,
actually take
like,
hold.
Yeah. Actually, sorry, this is really stupid, and I know it's not accurate in any way. But I'm noticing with my eyes. So this was just like a funny thing I talked to Jacques about, where I was like, okay, my mom has a glass eye, right? She lost her eye as a child. So, I always notice that like one eye looks different than the other. It's a little bit more like droopy in comparison because it's like a fake eye, right? So I started noticing that in my eyes. And I was like, what if that passed down to me without me knowing?
The fake eye,
or just the fact that like one eye is like not as developed because it was,
maybe you like
I don't think that would be
subconsciously like
Could be.
copied.
maybe.
Because like,
But it's funny because it's like, it's interesting because it's like you hear like how evolution works, right? And it's like even sometimes certain things that happen to you can change your DNA, and it can pass on to your children.
Here's what and it's just like my own headcanon belief. But I think with actions.
Oh wait, what's up? Sorry.
Is that proof that like generational trauma can be passed down through the gene?
100%.
Oh, I'm
Yeah,
getting to this.
100%. Yeah.
I'm getting to this.
I definitely agree with that. Yeah.
I think within our blood, when we choose a partner or we choose someone and we mix blood and like, I believe that it passes down everything. Like everything is there. Like,
everything you went through, everything you
Yeah.
experienced. I kind of believe that too.
like the information is still there somewhere. I don't think it's lost. I don't think our experiences are. Just
I feel like it
completely
is
our
encoded
own.
in our DNA, and you know what's funny? Assassin's Creed taps into that. As dumb as that sounds, it taps into that because the whole idea of him reliving his ancestors' life is they tap into his DNA of like the memories of his ancestors, and he is able to relive that,
like,
right?
DNA
That's a cool
technically
concept.
does.
Oh, sorry, time out. What's up? Oh, okay. Sorry.
DNA, yeah, stop cutting me off.
Well, no, because everyone's going like this, and so I'm like, okay, like I thought maybe there's a noise or something that's interrupting.
Oh, I don't even remember what I was gonna say.
We were talking about DNA and like Assassin's Creed and how it tapped into the DNA.
Okay, yeah. So DNA technically saves physical attributes and other stuff like that. Like it saves how tall you were. It saves what hair color you had. It saves your eye color, and that saves.
And then it becomes a range. It becomes a range of like how tall you can become, or
it adds in like all that stuff matters, and like I don't think it's just our physical properties. Like I think some of our experiences that were strongly, like I don't think it's just any experience, but I think it's powerful experiences that were moving or traumatizing towards us. Like anything that's like with our memory, that's like we can always remember that. Yeah. Like ingrained in our memory. I think like part of that gets passed on.
It's like the nature versus nurture debate, right? Because I think I've had this talk with Jacques a lot where I was like, you know, I see myself turning into my mother slowly. And it bugs me, you know, because I'm just like, I always told myself I'm not going to be as anxious as her. I'm not going to be as like, you know, overbearing as her. But like I literally am. And like as I get older, it's becoming more and more apparent. And it's so frustrating because it's like, I feel like the more I fight against it, the worse it gets. And so it's like, as I start accepting it, I'm becoming my mother. And I'm like, how much of that is DNA?
I feel like
you know, or how much of that is me learning from her as I grew up?
Is it, would you say a part of it is also maybe not just you learning, but you understanding why she was that way? You're like, oh,
I still don't get why she's that way. I don't get why I am that way.
No, you don't get it? You just feel like you are
I'm
now?
just like crazy for no reason.
Oh, wow. I just got to deliver something. Sorry.
Delivery?
Yep.
Wow. Unprofessional.
Janique could have done it.
So unprofessional.
Tell me anything more.
Fuck out of here. My butt's sweaty.
Sweaty butt syndrome.
Sweaty butt syndrome. I need a shirt that says that. We need more merch with our catchphrases. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, we're ready. I'm going to segue into my topic.
Yeah, I was going to ask you because we've been talking about animals and death for a
no,
while.
we have perfectly transitioned the conversation.
Into your topic.
Yep, my controversial topic.
Controversial.
So, my topic.
Wait, are we running right now? Are we going? Jordan? Jordan, why'd you just leave?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're going, okay.
Right. Yep, my topic. Okay.
All right, let's go.
Are you ready?
I thought he said we could.
Something that me and my girl were watching a show called Dead Ringers.
Okay.
And we ended up getting a conversation because, like, one of the ladies on the show ends up growing a fetus almost through growing a fetus in a tube or something, like in a lab.
Oh, yeah.
Almost for the first trimester.
Okay.
So I think it's like 16 weeks or 8 weeks.
I think they did that with a sheep, right? I feel like they did that with
I'm not sure. But this is like a make-believe show. But we were talking about it.
Yeah.
And we were basically talking about also genetically modifying your kid. Like if you had the choice to genetically modify
Gundam
a child.
talks about that a lot.
Yeah.
Good coordinators.
Here's the thing. I'm for coordinators. Let's go.
Oh my god.
Let's create the future we want. and a big debate that
I'm on the fence, but it's fine.
Okay, I want to hear it. So a big debate that we have, is a lot of them feel like it's unnatural or like it's playing God. And I feel like we do stuff like this all the time, but no one ever wants to say we're playing God. Like, cell phones are us playing God, but no one says that. That's not something we typically say. Like, we have the most powerful information book in our pockets at most times. Like, you can look up anything you want.
Yeah.
You can move money. You can take... Phones are crazy. If you were to show a phone to someone...
It is true. It is true,
like, could you imagine, describing a phone to someone 80 years ago?
Yeah. They'd be like,
witchcraft. They'd be like, no, this person's crazy. Like, can you imagine them on the street? And it takes pictures, and you can look up things, and then you can just...
You have all the information at your fingertips.
Yep, all the information. You just pass them on the street and be like, that person's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, so what's funny is, like, I actually had a debate like this with my mom because my mom's religious, right? So I told her, like, this actually was, like, a conversation that I was talking about related to being trans and being gay. Because I was telling her, I was like, it doesn't actively say in the Bible. So there is a statement regarding with lying with man lying with man, but it was mistranslated from the Hebrew version. So it actually was mistranslated and the context was mistranslated. So when I was telling my mom about this, I'm like, Mom, people are learning every day how the Bible has been mistranslated or misinterpreted. And I was like, you of all people should understand this because you're a Jehovah's Witness. And Jehovah's Witnesses are basically people who retranslated the Bible the way that they felt that it was, like, originally supposed to be with, like, the Hebrew version, right? Because, like, even the, like, I'm just saying, like, this, I know we're talking, because we're talking in the religious aspect, but it's like, even hell itself, the Hebrew meaning was supposed to be something related to earth, not actually a place, and things like that. So I was like, you know, the Bible itself says people are imperfect. So what if we what if we, like, read the Bible wrong this whole time?
Yo, but that's completely possible. But
that's what I'm saying. I was trying to tell her, I'm like, Mom, just try to comprehend that, like, people are the ones who wrote this. People are the ones who translated. We could have very easily misunderstood everything it's telling us. And she's like, no, but it's the Word of God. You know, it's the Word of God. No, there's no way. Because the Bible found a way. It just found a way through God. You know, and that's the argument. I know. And it's really hard to argue with someone who's religious because they have their faith, right? And they're like, I have faith that God would have found a way to tell you or tell us the truth. But the Bible doesn't really say anything about cell phones, vaccines. It doesn't say anything about it. And that's one of my arguments too, where, like, because, like, I have a very logical brain, so when I'm telling my mom, I'm like, Mom, God knew everything. Why didn't he talk about cell phones? Why didn't he talk about vaccines? Like, he's supposed to know everything. Give us some guidance.
Yep. See, here's my
right?
issue. If we were to talk about the Bible specifically, one of the issues I have is this, like, we're basing, like, you can loosely and take a breath.
Oh no, is this religious trauma?
Yeah.
I feel that. Yeah. I feel that. I feel that.
Can you tell I was the one in church who, like, gave the most trouble? Which
I was gonna talk about church too, but we'll get into that after.
Yeah. Okay, we'll get there. Religions. Okay, the Bible.
Yes.
It's a book that was written at a completely different time, and to base our laws or faith or our actions on something that was written so long ago is ludicrous. It is you, like, I think it's negligent. It's negligent because it's just like the times were so different and we've learned so much.
Yeah.
Like, essentially, you're going with everything that was written at that time was perfect. Like, this was
because it's the Word of God.
Yeah.
So they say it's perfect, right?
That's so crazy and illogical.
I know. But the Bible's never been logical. It's always been about faith, right?
But that's the thing. Like, if you're basing it just on faith and you want to interpret these stories as religious stories of faith, that's something completely different. I feel like us anime fans, we've learned a lot from anime, but we don't look at it to be like, this is perfect this is
There
how
are
we...
some, though. There's always some.
Okay, there are some extremists.
There's always some.
But for the most part, most of us aren't like, oh my god, this is the golden standard for life itself.
I mean, we kind of...
Not in the same way. We're not basing laws off of what we saw in anime.
Wait, Jordan has something to say.
So you're telling me there wasn't a handful of times where you watched Naruto and was like, yo, this is how life should be.
Yo, here's the thing. And it's what I'm saying, though, is I've taken the morals from all these shows that I've learned, but I'm not out here being like, oh my god, Naruto said, so I'm not taking some fucked up thing that happened in Naruto and been like, we have to apply this to everyone. This is the new gold standard.
You're not looking at Jiraiya and being like, yo, I have to be a peeping Tom to be a master at anything.
Yeah, like I'm not doing that stuff. I'm not taking the negative aspect of these stories and applying it. Like I'm trying to think of the worst anime story, like, and even then, you know, there's a bad guy. You don't do what the bad guy did. Like,
do you know what I'm talking about?
no.
Oh my god. Jameel, you don't have anime community trauma. You don't... This... Bruh. Have you ever gone on an anime forum and been like, hey, can someone recommend me an anime? And they go, Boku no Pico, and you just go through the ride of your life of trauma.
Okay, I have
of
a different
like the
anime trauma.
most messed... You don't want to know what it is. Don't look it up.
I will not.
Don't Google it.
I wasn't going to.
It is...
Your
it
face
is
told me everything I needed to know.
specifically meant to troll everybody. Don't watch it. Do
See,
not watch it.
I feel...
Don't watch it.
I'm not going to. I went on an anime forum.
No one wants to watch this.
I went on an anime forum.
Yeah.
It was an anime forum. I met these people at Anime North.
Oh,
and,
God.
And they were so nice. And
They're
like,
so nice.
I joined their
But
Facebook
then
group.
I did that too once.
And I regret it so much.
Yeah.
Because we got into the...
Anime fans are so weird. We're anime fans. And I'm like, why do you guys go in these places?
What? No, why do you do certain... I want to say... Okay, so it was supposed to be a people of color anime group.
Okay.
And I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
POC anime group.
Yeah.
I joined.
There's a lot of hate, actually. I don't know if, like, it's pretty fucked up. A lot of hate towards, like, POC cosplayers.
Yeah, there
which
is.
fucks me up.
There is.
Anyways, go on.
Okay. And here's my thing. You know when you want to ally yourself with someone?
Yeah.
And you just can't?
Because there's so many things wrong with what they do.
So
yeah.
Here's the thing. I basically got kicked out. Why? Because I disagreed with something. I disagreed.
Oh my god.
I made a comment about something, and then it turned into this huge argument.
What was the comment, though?
I feel like it has something to do with Jaden Smith and misogyny.
So nothing
like-
to do with that.
Here's the thing. I
had
think
nothing to do with anime.
I don't think it had anything to do. I think it was because Jaden had an anime coming out at the time that he was voice acting. So like,
What did he voice act in?
do you know that pink-haired anime dude in Netflix? I don't remember the name of the show.
Psychic or something. I like that.
No, it wasn't Psyche or anything. I can't remember what it's called.
Is it a new one?
No, it's old.
Oh.
It came out like
1 or 2 seasons.
8 years ago.
Okay, I don't know then.
Yeah, but he voice acted in it. I think
Okay.
he was the one who like got it. I think. Either way, they were like, "Oh my God, Jaden's not misogynist." Like they were giving him all this praise, and I said something, and they just like, because I listened to a lot of Jaden at the time, so I'm like, that's not necessarily true. And
Yeah, you're like,
basically they were just like, "Don't try and mansplain and don't try and do that," and then they were just like gaslighting me and bullying. It was the first time I've ever seen someone bully someone with politically correct bullying someone. It's that whole thing that like the right talks about, where it's like the liberals will use this or the left will use this to overpower you and shame you, and that's what they were literally doing. And I'm like, the girl I was dating at the time, she was just like, yep. She knew like, every move they were gonna do, and she's like, just stop talking to them, just stop replying. I
think those are people you call that they used to call social justice warriors.
Yes.
Where it was like they didn't always have a valid point. They were just trying to break down everything you said because you disagreed with them.
Yep.
And I don't
every
like
word
that.
was taken literally, whether the context was important. Like you don't even look at the context. Like you say this, and it's just like it doesn't matter what you were trying to say or what you meant. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you said this and you didn't put this here, so this meant this, and you're a bad person for it.
Very black and white.
Yeah. And it
Which-
was the worst experience.
Yeah, it sucks. It does suck. And, like, I think, I have a lot to say about that, but I think it's, like, one of those, because I've had that experience online, too. It's one of the reasons why, like, I started avoiding Facebook and things like that, because I feel like that black and white thinking, like, I have that sometimes, right? Like, I mentioned I'm autistic, so I have those moments. But I think when you start to, like, bully someone and shame someone, then you've crossed the line. Because it's like, I have my moments, but, you know, if you're expressing your opinion, I'm totally open to debate about it or discussion about it. But I think that sometimes people take it too far, where, like, it's almost like they're trying to beat you down to think the way that they think. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was either like I agree with them or
you're
I'm
out.
an absolute monster. Not even that
Yeah.
I'm out, like I'm a monster. And it was just like...
And it feels shitty because it's like, even if, let's say if I said something that ended up, I found out later was actually an ignorant statement. At least talk to me about it. You know what I mean? Like, I think the problem is, like, sometimes people can be so heightened and so aggressive of, like, you're terrible, we're gonna cut you out. I don't know. I feel like that's, like, the environment now.
Well, it's weird because, like, people aren't actually looking for change. Because in order to really get change, you actually do need patience. And sometimes, like... As much as you want to react with your emotions and your feelings, if you truly want to change someone or have a meaningful conversation, you can't do that. I remember when I was at camp.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of camp stories today.
I went through a lot at camp, guys. Camp changed me.
I will never forget. Another day, never forget. One of the white campers called a black camper the N-word.
Oh my
And
god!
there was only like six or seven of us. So I remember we all got together and we we're all really, really angry. And we were talking about like how should we handle
what
this.
the fuck?
Like we're all so mad because it was like it hurt all of us. It just hurt all of us because we all like either helped him or like we were responsible
Why
for him.
did he even say it?
Because I guess they got into an argument and
so he just wanted to hurt and like be really fucked up about it.
And something I learned is like these smaller, because he came from like a smaller town, like he didn't really. This was the most black people he's ever been around, so it was really like, I guess a culture shock. It's different from everything he's kind of been taught.
Yeah.
Or what he knows.
But that's
what he
good
hears.
for him.
Yeah,
it's good for him
good
to be
exposure.
exposed. Yeah.
So I remember I wanted to hit him. I just wanted to be like.
Yeah. And run away.
Just make sure no one's looking. Never say anything. You know what it's for. But I decided not to. I was mad. But I ended up talking to him.
Yeah.
And he ended up apologizing and was like, yo. He was like, basically, he was like, I fucked up. I really fucked up. I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have said that. And it was just like, no, you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
But it's good that you recognize that you shouldn't.
That's good.
And it was being able to talk to him that I think also helped. Where it was like, if we just attacked him, he probably would have been like, F these for life.
You know, it's funny because like I've talked about this with Jacques too, where I was like, I feel like when you act so. What do you say? When you act like very antagonizing to someone, all it does is enforce their incorrect beliefs.
Yeah.
Because they just start thinking, like, because they're already in the mindset of, like, I'm judging you for your skin color, I'm judging you for your background, and you just prove to me that that's it. And it's bullshit, because it's like, you know, they shouldn't be thinking that way.
Gaslighting.
It is.
It's like physically gaslighting. Like,
they shouldn't
I think
be
this,
thinking
so I'm
that
going to kind of
way.
make you want to do something,
Yeah.
and then you do it, and it's like, haha, I got you to do that, and I was right.
And it's really annoying. And in all honesty, I think like anyone who doesn't adhere to that, who's just like triggered and is like fuck you, they have every right to be that way. Like you had every right to like like walked away, right? Because like you have that right because you have the right as a human being to react how you are to fucking bigotry, right? But at the same time, like you said, it's not going to help change that person's perspective. But, you know, it reminds me of, oh my God, what was the movie called? There was this movie I watched. I freaking forgot what it's called.
Milk?
No.
Okay.
But I haven't seen that movie. I've heard
I
it's
haven't
really
seen
good.
it either.
I've heard it's really good. I feel like I should watch it. I haven't seen
Are
it.
we putting it on the watch list?
Yes. Milk. So there was this one movie where, like, you'll probably know if I talk about it, but it was like this kid who had an older brother who was very racist. I don't know if he was also anti-Semitic, but basically just like very hateful, almost like a neo-Nazi type of person. Then he got arrested. He went to jail. And when he was in jail, the only person who he felt he could talk to and who had his back was a black guy. And it changed his perspective entirely while he was in jail, where you realize he was like, these are literally just people. He's like, this is a person. I love this person. They're like my best friend now after like his experience in jail. But in the meanwhile, his younger brother was reinforcing the beliefs he was taught by his older brother because he looked up to him. He was constantly all neo-Nazi bullshit, like hated all races, all other races besides white people and things like that. And then his brother gets out of jail.
And
when
now
he
has
gets
to
home,
face himself.
But it's a really. Oh, I wish I remembered the movie name. I have to tell you.
You have
like,
to find it.
I have to find it, but then his little brother's all like, "You became a wussy," and he was just like, "No, I just like." He's like, "I just realized reality of like these
wrong.
are people. Like I was wrong. Like, you know, nothing you're doing is right. You shouldn't act this way." And it was a really good movie.
It sounds amazing.
It's
I
actually
love
really
movies
good.
that are just.
They
like,
go
substance.
deep. Yeah, they
Like,
go
there's
deep
just so
into
much
the issues.
there. Oh.
Yeah, because the thing that I've looked up online too, like I've seen people talk about it, is like, because like we grew up in Toronto, so we're used to like, you know, so many diverse backgrounds.
Yeah.
But then when you go outside of Toronto, it's different.
Not like that.
We have to,
It's
yeah,
not like that.
And I've talked to people about this where I'm like, I've noticed that a lot of times it's like because they've literally never like actually had a black friend or like talked to them,
person of
or
color,
any
like,
person of color where they've been able to like see them as like another person. So it's like these are like the others to them, you know, when they see them, and it's pretty wild. But like a lot of places are like that.
A lot. Do you know how when I learned, when I was in wrestling.
You wrestled?
I wrestled. Yeah.
When?
In high school, all of high
Jesus.
school. I was good too. Not
Did
great.
you guys know this?
But I was good.
Oh shit.
Yep. Yeah,
You still wrestle?
No, I don't wrestle anymore. I still know my moves.
You know your moves.
Yeah.
But you don't do it anymore.
I don't do it anymore.
I got it. Okay, go
But
on.
I made it to OFSA.
What's OFSA?
You don't know what OFSA is? It's like Ontario. Any OFA or whatever is like
A sports
the Ontario.
thing?
Yeah, it's the Ontario equivalent of like.
I never got to that point in any sports.
Okay. Oh. It's basically making it to Ontario, so it's past cities.
Yeah.
You're now fighting in the best of Ontario.
I was one of those people, and I think it was because I had undiagnosed ADHD. It's like the moment the pressure was on me, where I was in the last finals of tryouts, that it stressed me out so much that I failed miserably. Like I went from getting to the finals to it stressed me out too much.
I'll tell you a funny story. Not funny. It's a sad story actually.
Yeah. Oh God.
It's
okay.
a sad story.
Anyways,
I've never admitted. I've admitted.
You
it
have
before,
to admit it now.
But I'll admit it on camera after. About talking about pressure. Okay.
Oh yeah, the pressure.
But before we
We
get
gotta
derailed,
wrap up soon,
I know.
by the way.
Okay.
We have too much to talk about. It's okay. We have one more episode together.
Yes, we do. Okay.
Because
Now,
Alex is
only
gone.
one?
Bitch.
No.
Love you.
Okay. Yeah. So funny enough, it was me, Alex, and this next guy that we knew,
this next
and we
guy.
were just having a conversation. We were just having a casual conversation. I don't even remember what. We were just shooting the shit for a second.
Okay.
It was between matches, whatever, and we were talking, and there was a girl on a stretcher. She had sprained her ankle, and she was just on the stretcher.
Oh, yeah.
And we were just talking, and she was like, "Excuse me," and we're like, we all stopped, and we're like, "Yes," and she was like, "This is the most black people I've ever been around in my whole life."
Why would you even say that?
And we're like, "What?"
You're like,
what do you mean the most? There's 3 of us. And we were all like cracking jokes about, but like she came from such a small town, because this is all of Ontario.
Yeah.
So like she came from some small town, who knows where, and like.
But why even say that?
I think it was just like.
It was just like a shock?
Yeah, it was like the first time, and it was like, oh my god.
She's like, what are you guys doing?
She's like, wow, I want to see. I want to be part of this.
I see people like you on TV, but holy shit, you guys are magnificent.
That's so funny. That's kind of cute, actually. She's like, oh my god,
Yeah, it
I'm
wasn't-
so intrigued.
I just want to say hi. She's like, I have not said anything. We're like, nah, you good.
Oh, that's cute.
We
That's
were just
really-
like,
that-
3.
But that's cute. That's like an innocent thing. It's like, hey, like I've never like been around you guys.
This
like,
is the first.
This is the first time. Like I'm so
She
cute.
clearly she's never really been to Toronto.
Yeah, I know. But you know, it's funny too, because like I remember growing up, and I've talked to Jordan about this too, where I was like, we would watch TV like Disney, and everyone's like 90% white, and I'm like, this is so unrealistic, and I would like talk to my mom about it, because like I grew up in a neighborhood that was predominantly black. Like, literally, it was the Somalia neighborhood, so it was like everyone around me was black. So I was like, Mom, this is so unrealistic. And my mom would always be like, yeah, it's TV. It's Hollywood. It's always unrealistic. I'm like, yeah, it's stupid. And then I realized, little did I know that, like, when you leave the city, it's literally,
white.
it's just like that. I'm like, white people everywhere. I'm like, it was a culture shock for me. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, when you
Whoa.
find that out, you're like,
yeah.
oh.
Whoa, I was like, what the fuck is going on? But, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we gotta wrap this up.
Okay, so before we wrap it up,
Wait,
I will
did
say
you-
the
Wait,
last
where were
story.
you going with your wrestling thing?
Yeah, I just wanted to
Oh,
talk
that
about-
was it?
yeah,
that was it?
it.
Okay.
Okay, but
I
there
thought you were
was
gonna tell
one
me some
story.
cool wrestling story.
No. Oh god, there was a story I was gonna say about admitting something.
Okay, yes, admit it.
What was I gonna admit?
Wrestling, it was related to wrestling. You were really good at it.
No, it wasn't wrestling related.
Okay, it was
It
something
was
with-
adhering to pressure. Okay.
Pressure.
All right. So I also ran track,
I tried.
but I was really good in middle school.
I was good too.
Exceptional.
I was good too.
You were
I
good
was
too?
second. But then when it came to the last tryouts, I was like 5th, and they were like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know.
Oh.
I stressed out, really.
See, yours is still better than mine. What I did was
I get
terrible.
real bad.
I just want to apologize to my middle school gym teacher, live on camera. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, by the way. I was
For what I did.
undiagnosed. I had problems. Yes, go on.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I did. So I was really good. Like I was amazing. Like I was by far not just the best in my school, but like I was one of the best in the city at
Where are
the
the
time.
receipts?
I will tell you why there's not a lot of receipts.
Ah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
did-
The story
I
of
did-
why there are no receipts.
So I
but
did
it's true.
I did the first meet. I topped. I think I came second or third. Went to the second meet, topped again. So it was like the third meet. It's just like the one before OFSA. So I think it's is it cities? I think it was cities.
Yeah.
So went to go do cities, and I woke up in the morning. I got ready, and I just didn't want to go. I didn't want to do it because I was the only person from my school who made it at all. So every meet I was always by myself. It wasn't even it wasn't even stressful. It was
just
lonely.
sad. Yeah, it was lonely.
Because I had no friends. Like I had some friends I kind of met there.
Yeah.
But I was so tired of being the only one because I would just go with my teacher and then like I'd be there all day and I wouldn't have anyone to really talk to.
Oh, that's always the worst because you're like, why am I here?
Yeah.
Fuck this shit.
Like I liked running, but I'm like I
Not
wanted
that
to
much.
run with someone. Like,
Not that
I like
much.
friends. So
Sitting alone
I just
at
sat
lunch.
down and I couldn't go. So I waited until
that's
like
a mental thing though. That's like very like you were like, because it's like even with me when I started high school, like when I went in grade 9 when I had to have lunches alone and everyone else made friends and stuff, I was like, this is just embarrassing. Like this is
sucks.
sad.
It sucks.
It sucks so much. You're so bored. You feel like everyone's looking at you like you're a loser, and you're just like
I mean,
it's
like
cringe.
I already felt running was lonely too because I was
Yeah.
the best in my school. I would always finish first by like a lot.
But priorities, right?
I know, but I'm a
Priority.
kid. I was a kid, so
no,
like
no. I'm saying priorities as in like you cared more about your mental health and your environment than you did about like being this like top runner. Dude.
I know, but I wish I could have expressed that. So what happened was
Oh, what did you?
I waited until
What
I
did you
knew
do?
it was too late to go.
Oh my god.
So we were supposed to leave, I think, at like 10:30. So I show up to school for 11. Because that's what the meet started at 10:30, so I showed up at 11. And my teacher's freaking out. He is just like, Jameel, where were you? Jameel, come on, oh my god, you're finally get in the car. We're gonna go. And I couldn't break it to him that I didn't want to. So we get in the car and he's stressed out because there's traffic and he's just trying to make it there. And we make it there and we missed it by like 5 minutes. And then like 5 or 6 minutes. Yeah, like I could see he was so hurt by it. And then he
probably thought that you would be upset by it. He probably was like, oh.
I think I was like kind of like his ticket to success. He was like, oh my god, this kid is great. He's like, this kid can go places. Because afterwards, we missed it. He wanted to wait around till the times were posted. And then he looked at the times and was like, you would have beat these times. He's like, you do these times already. Like, you could have got second or third. He was just so upset. Because he's like, you could have won. You could have.
Boy, that nigger can run.
NK, get out of here.
Take away his mic privileges.
Get out of here. Get the fuck out of here, buddy.
But yeah, I saw his heart break. When he just, especially like, I saw it break.
But it was
and
still.
And I saw it sunk when he realized I would have won too. Or at least
But it was still your life and your choice. Like, But you know, the worst is when an adult tries to live through you. Because, like, yeah, okay, maybe it was his one chance for success. But you were still a child that, like, you were making your own decisions and your own path to life. So, it wasn't his decision.
The only thing, though, that I kind of regret and why I apologize, I wish I expressed that to him that I don't want to do this. I felt like I did it in a way that
But it's hard when you're a
down.
kid. But it's hard when you're a kid. Like, even when I was a kid, it was hard sometimes to express myself. Like, I had a hard time sometimes telling people, like, straight up, because it's like you're also scared of the consequences. Like, you're scared of, like, what if they punish me for this? What if they, you know, like, start treating me differently because of this, right? Because it's like, when you're a kid, and this is your teacher, too. Yeah. Imagine if you said, I just don't want to do it. What if they were like, whoa, forget detention, or like, I don't know, they do something in reprimand, because like you're pretty much powerless as a kid, right?
Not really. Like, I feel like if I told him I no longer want to do it, he would have been disappointed, but I think it would have been a different type of disappointment from like
Are you sure you don't know?
I just think, like, I'm looking at as an adult, like, if someone did that to me, I would have been really disappointed. It's almost like if you had a date with someone and they just...
Well, I feel
instead
like
of them telling you, like, I'm not interested, I don't want to do this, they kind of stood you up. Like, I stood them up.
But I'm sure you also understood you were a kid. Like, it's different with adults. It's different if you're going on a date with a 30-year-old and they fucking act childish, okay. But when you're in middle school or high school, like, you're still figuring yourself out. I was in middle school, so... Yeah, so you're still figuring yourself out. You're hitting puberty. You know what the fuck's going on. Like, I'm sure he would have been fine with it. Like, regardless of... I'm sure that, like... I feel like when something like that happens, he must have been stressing, thinking, like, I need to fix this for you because... You know, maybe he thought, oh, maybe he slept in and, like, this is his big chance.
I think it was. You know? He probably would have talked me into continuing.
Yeah, and I think in his mind, he was thinking, like, you were the one who wanted to do it, but something happened out of your control. But in your mind, you purposefully made it happen, right? But you were a kid, so that was your way of figuring out how to get out of it. Whereas, you know, him as an adult, I'm sure he wasn't, like... I think he was heartbroken for you. More than himself. I think he was thinking, oh my god, Jameel, like, was late, he slept in, like, he could have won, right?
I think he would have looked at it like, if I had made it to nationals.
Yeah.
Or, like, OFSA for running. Mm-hmm. And, like, if I had made it far enough, like, it would have opened a lot of opportunities and doors. So it was like, he looked at it, was like, yo, I can really grant him an opportunity.
He was trying to fix it for you. I think that's what he was trying to do. In my mind, like, when you explain it, because I feel like if I was a teacher, that's what I'd be like, he's a kid, he fucked up, let's fix it, let's do this, let's get him in, right? But he didn't know that the whole time you were like, great. You were like, this is great.
I missed it, it's over, we're just going to go about our day.
Right? So I think in his mind, you should probably tell him.
I should just reach out to him.
You should reach out and be like, yo, by the way, I made that happen on purpose. Don't feel bad.
I feel like I don't even know if I could say, oh my god.
You know, I've done that, by the way. I actually had this period where I randomly reached out to people in high school that I flat out was like, I am so sorry I did this to you, or I'm so sorry I said this to you. And half the time they would say, I don't even remember it, but I was like, I don't care. I'm telling you, I'm sorry. Feel good.
I remember it.
Feel better.
In my blood.
Because to me, it's like, there are things that I randomly remember about people that maybe they don't think I remember. So I'm like, I may as well tell you, by the way, I wasn't trying to be a dick. Like, I'm so sorry. Like, you didn't deserve that. And I did that. And you could totally do that too. You could totally reach out to him and be like, by the way, don't feel bad because I made this happen for myself.
Yeah, I chose it. I'm sorry.
I chose this path.
Yo, I hated running by myself.
And you know
the
what?
The top was lonely.
You know what? I am very much of the belief that, like, it's never too late to reach out and say things, because someone could reach out to me from 10 years ago being like, I'm sorry I did this, and I would really appreciate it. I'd be like, thank you. I'd be like, thank you for telling me this. Thank you for expressing yourself. Because even if I've already moved on, at least I know in my head, like, this wasn't supposed to be a traumatic experience. You didn't mean it to be that.
Or even if you meant it, that you do feel remorse towards it.
Yes, you did think about it. You've thought about me, and you're like, B is important. I should apologize to her. That gives me enough satisfaction. So, if he's still alive, because half my teachers died, it's pretty sad. If he's still alive, you should tell him.
I don't even... Oh, my God.
I think you should tell him. Just send a Facebook message and delete your Facebook.
I would have to explain myself first. You know, I'd be like, do you remember how good I was? He'd be like, yeah, of course I remember.
I was
Alright.
just enjoying the conversation.
Yeah. So we gotta wrap this up.
My
No,
friends.
not yet. I still haven't talked about church, by the way. I just want to say, church is like torture. I'm just gonna say this. It's like torture. I was talking to Janique about this.
I mastered the art of falling asleep.
Oh my god. Okay.
Like, I could sleep
Listen. I have so many things to say about this, but I will say it in a 15-minute quick loop. Maybe less.
15-minute quick. Okay.
It'll be real quick. Okay.
Save it for the next one.
Church Part 2.
Church is the worst.
Wait,
We might not have a chance with the guests.
What do we call it when in church when everyone gets the rapture?
Anyways, it's like torture. I'm gonna talk about it next time because we're out of time.
I was shameless. I had no shame.
I have no shame, and I caused shame to others, and I feel bad about it.
I fell asleep next to the pastor's
I fell
wife.
asleep. I fell asleep during my niece's first communion. And then when I woke up, I would giggle and laugh and make jokes with Jacques. And he was like, stop. He was like, please stop. We're going to talk about this next episode.
The pastor's wife.
Okay.
Yo, she looked at
it's
me
okay.
and
We'll
was like,
talk about
"Good
this
nap."
next. Remember this. We're going to talk about this next episode. Thank you guys for watching. We didn't get derailed this time, but we stayed on
I feel
topic.
like we did.
Yeah.
We super got derailed.
We were on the same topic for like the whole thing.
We
No.
were supposed to talk about church.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
we were supposed to talk about church. We were
Anyways,
supposed to
but
talk
the
about...
topic we did talk about, we stuck on it.
Well,
we committed to the topic.
Not we didn't even talk about my topic. We said Gundam and then moved on.
Okay, whatever. Just make me feel better about this episode, okay? Humor me a little bit.
Yo, it comes so natural, the conversation.
Yeah, it's true. We talk about a lot. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, all the buttons. Press all the buttons because we need money, please. We make 30 cents a month. Please help.
I get 2 cents.
We haven't gotten a cent. I haven't gotten a cent. You got 2 cents?
I just put in my 2 cents.
Yo,
Yeah.
I haven't even gotten a cent of that 30 cents. Where's my
I don't
30
think you
cents,
get it.
Alex?
I don't think she got it.
Where's my fucking
get
30
it?
cents? I see it. I see it's
Well,
there.
everybody, have a good night. This
I
is
see it's
Chopper.
there.
Did you get it?
I didn't get 30 cents.
is
I
Chopper.
see it's
Did you
there.
get it?
And
Did
the
you get
rest
the
of
joke?
them,
Did you
have a
get the
good
joke?
night.
2 cents. I get the joke. I get
Okay.
the joke.
She
I'm
got
just
the joke.
ignoring it. I'm just ignoring it.
Bojack
Okay.
reference.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Love you.
Jameel was wrong.
Jameel was wrong. You don't get another chance.
Still a god.
It's over. You're not a demigod.
Put that on my shirt.
As much as you
That's
want
gonna
that.
be my shirt. Still
That
a
was
god.
good shoot, guys.